guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host John, aka Latherhog, and I'm just gonna get right into it. Yesterday I did a live shave with the Blackland Era, a forthcoming razor from Blackland Razors. Right, you can see it right here. And this one has 10 different base plate options. The razor came courtesy of Shane from Blackland, and he provided me all the all the base plates. So one regular viewer, Lee, he requested if I could cover the lower base plates. I had started out with the 3 standard, straight bar base plate, and really lovely shave, very mild, probably akin to like the Carve B plate or the Rockwell 3, or in between 3 and 4 plate. So that's kind of usually as mild as I go. But I know some of you love your mild razors, even milder than maybe what I prefer. So given that this is next day shave, something that's kind of rare for me, it's a perfect opportunity to try that number 1 base plate. So that's what we've got here. I've also loaded in a fresh blade. It comes packed with, what do you call them? The Persona Lab Blues. So that's why I popped in here just before we started recording. And seeing as how Halloween just passed, and now some folks are celebrating Dios de los Muertos, pardon my terrible pronunciation, but it's the Day of the Dead celebration, I thought we should have an appropriate soap and splash, so I've grabbed this one today. Barbershop de los Muertos by Murphy and McNeil. This is a collaboration with Chicano Design. Chicano Design, you can see the very ornate skulls in most if not all of his label work. And this one is in the Kodiak base, which uses bear tallow, kind of exotic. And this is not a new soap, but yeah, you can see it's still, most of my soaps are fairly lightly used. Scent is fairly strong out of the tub. I'd say probably like a 7 out of 10 in terms of scent strength. And this one is a dupe of Amouage Jubilation Man, which is one that I really enjoy. It definitely has that barbershop vibe, but also kind of falls into the Oriental class of fragrances. It's a little, kind of the spices and some of the notes makes it a little more Middle Eastern and exotic. So really wonderful, unique fragrance here. Really happy to use this as well as the matching splash. And I don't know if this is the standard bottle for the Murphy and McNeil splashes, but it's pretty ornate. It's kind of got this faux leather, little trim on the cap there. Square frosted bottle. And last up for the brush, we've got this wonderful selection from Wild West Brushworks. I feel like for a while there, I was using Wild West brushes a lot, and then I kind of fell off. So gotta get these back into the mix. Also, I mean, just to be matchy. I mean, that's pretty good, right, guys? If we're trying to go for the color matching, yeah. So this is outfitted with a 26mm SHD knot from Maggards. So super high density badger fan. I have these in a bunch of my brushes. So that's a brush for today. And also, as I mentioned before, I just shaved yesterday, so we're looking at 1 day's worth of beard growth. Not too much here, but enough for a shave. Before we move further on to the shave, if you want to help out the channel, help support what I'm doing here, you can hit that like button if you're enjoying this video. And if you haven't done so already, please consider becoming a subscriber, as both these things will really help the growth of the channel. Alright, so here you can see the brush is loaded. Let's get into the face lather. Now, although I've done this software set in a prior video, let me just list for you the scent notes. Now, it's quite the extensive list, so I won't read it off, but I can definitely put it up on the screen for you guys. In general, I really like the offerings from Amouage just as a perfume house. If you guys are into frags at all and you're looking for something that's that stands out, that's a little bit different from your typical designer fragrances, I highly recommend, getting a decant or a sample of some of theirs. For this one in particular, Jubilation, man, I do know that it's undergone some reformulations. So for the hardcore fragrance fans, they usually try to cop a older bottle. But in those scenarios, when it's the first time you've ever smelt it, this, whatever contemporary current version is out there is usually very solid. And since we're on the topic of fragrances and perfumes, I do want to mention that my previous video covering Holy Cow Vor V, and asking the question, is this a dupe? And should dupes or inspired by scents be disclosed? You guys had a lot of opinions, and differing or similar opinions are all welcome. I just want to thank everyone who shared their opinion in that video, in the comment section of that video. If you haven't caught that one, I'll put a link up here, but it's a interesting discussion. And I know some folks mentioned that information, if they disclose what cologne is based on, it doesn't really help them because they're not into fragrances. That totally makes sense. I would just advocate for as much, given that we're blind buying most of our shaving software, unless we're lucky to be close to somewhere like in New York, Pasteur's Pharmacy, where you can smell the tubs of soap. We are going in blind. So I am all for getting as much information to the consumer as possible. And of course, there are also differing opinions, whether, for those who used Vor V before, whether it smells like Tuscan leather, Tom Ford, or not. That kind of stuff is always open to debate. And as long as all the comments are respectful, we can agree to disagree if those situations happen. All right, so I'm lathered up here. Take a look. Nantahala is a very, very nice base from Murphy McNeil. And as I mentioned before, the razor we're going with today is the Blackland Era. This one does not have a drop date yet, but Blackland's hoping to release this before the end of the year. And yeah, so this is the one base plate, again with a Persona Lab Blue blade. So let's go in. I can't even tell you when the last time was where I did a shave with 1 day's worth of growth. Mostly because, since I work from home, 1 day's worth of stubble is not a whole lot for me. So as far as keeping up appearances, I can usually skirt by. Now this one's gonna be a little harder for me to compare to, again, like we've been using Carve and Rockwell as approximate, touch points. So you'll have to forgive me. It is quite mild though, but it's shaving. I think with this one plate though, you could definitely, if you buff a lot, again, going over the same spot, even without lather, to get that baby butt smooth shave, this one you can definitely buff with. But my shave, which I did live here on YouTube, with the first shave with the 3-plate, went very well. I did notice like this side of my chin, probably because I'm trying to balance talking, and actually I was trying to not take too long because we're getting ready to just go out for the day. I could have gone over a little bit better, but luckily we can just take care of that right now. And hopefully you guys can hear it too. There is some audio feedback even at this level. All right, let's go in for pass number 2 now. Although I am mostly focusing my observations on the razor today, just to talk a little bit more about the software. Barbershop de los Muertos is probably one of my favorite scents from Murphy McNeil. I do know that soaps, whatever the scent you might be looking for, the Kodiak soap base isn't always available, and I haven't checked recently whether it's in stock or not. But I do believe there are other, I believe it's their tallow base that's called Aeon, is also quite nice. And the other scent I have from them is also a cologne dupe, and that is Galelock. That might not be the proper way to say it, but that one is a dupe of Creed Viking, which actually buying that set of software led to me getting a decant of the actual fragrance, which I really enjoy. With that being said, since the time of that original singular purchase, in general, fragrances have really gotten expensive in the past few years, to the point where even though I really enjoy it, it might be price prohibitive as far as how much a bottle of Creed Viking costs. Which makes me also kind of regret, I had the opportunity to purchase the one that Barbershop de los Muertos is based on a few years back, and is much closer to the $100 mark, but now it's easily closer to the $200 mark, which is too bad. All right, so I was just feeling around, checking kind of the general efficiency level as I was drying off my face, or rather, sorry, as I was washing off the lather. And it is very mild. I think those of you who are looking for a super mild razor, the setting on the Era, it is quite gentle. In fact, I would say this is not one I would normally use, because I could use a third pass to get even closer, especially right here. I'm feeling I can still hear some of the stubble, but I'll want to use the 2-plate as well, so there's really no reason for me to cut it that close, especially if this week I want to try that 2-plate for my next shave. So we're going to leave it at 2 passes. I can confirm it's a very gentle, I would say it's a beginner-friendly setting. So I think that's kind of the purpose that the Blackland Era, the razor, was going to be accessible to not just the hobbyists and the hardcore wet shavers, but folks who are just looking for a better way to shave can afford it and enjoy it. So yeah, I think that 1-plate totally gets the mission accomplished as far as that goes. Let us use the matching aftershave to finish up things here. There we go. I will say, as far as in my past uses of the Murphy McNeil Splash, scent is very nice. It's an alcohol splash. But I will say, as far as skin food goes, it's kind of light on that. So my main use is to extend the fragrance past the shave, which it'll do just fine. Yeah, so just to summarize things, again, The one plate with the Blackland Era is a very nice mild setting for those of you who are looking for that. And stay tuned, the next shave we do this week will be with the 2 plate, and I'll be sure to go through. I will get a little more nervous, especially we get the last shave will be on the 5 open comb. And in general, I don't use a lot of open combs, so I don't know if you maybe enjoy a bloodbath or a little or you want to see a little color in the shave, that might happen then, so stay tuned for that. And as far as the software we use today, Barbershop de los Muertos, this gets a hearty thumbs up. So if this is available and the scent notes and the way I've described it, have a barbershop clean scent that has some exotic kind of spices and vibe to it, this is a great one. And as far as the soap base itself goes, very creamy, very easy to work with soap base, as I'm just trying to, in general, place different soap bases on my tier list. I gotta put this on the S tier because it just has such a great sheen. It performs very, very well post-shave, slickness, the whole kit and caboodle. Do people still say that? The whole shebang. The whole package is what I'm trying to say, is very good. So for now, I'm gonna put it on that S tier. I think once I get a few more soaps on the tier list, we're gonna have to do just maybe a small video and discuss, kind of do a little check-in, and that could be a fun thing to do. So once we get that going, you guys can share with me your tier list, what you agree with, what you disagree with. It'll be a good time. All right, so a few plugs before we head on out. If you're looking for a wet shaving community, whether you are an experienced wet shaver or a novice wet shaver, we'd love to have you come visit us at the Lather Talk Discord. You can come join us over at www.lathertalk.com and look for the link. It's free to check out. Come by. We have a new giveaways channel set up, so I'm not sure how often it'll be, but the rough goal is at least once per month. There's a giveaway going on, so be sure to stop by and check that out as well. You can also help support what I'm doing here with the channel on our new Patreon, the Lather Talk Patreon, and there's also a Lather Talk merchandise page for super comfy t-shirts or a branded mug / shave brush soaker. By no means feel obligated to visit either of those pages, but those are just options if you want to help support the efforts I'm putting forth here and through the Lather Talk podcast. But with that being said, I do really thank you guys for stopping by for today's video. I do hope that as we go through the different plates of the Blackland Era, it'll give you the information that you need as you're trying to decide maybe to purchase that razor or purchase it for someone else. As always, you can drop me a line or questions in the comment section below. But otherwise, I want to wish you guys a good day, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.